Hello everyone and welcome to Update 2 on Tropical Storm Zeta at 18 degrees north, 83.7 degrees west as of 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time this October the 25th. Most of the storm's convection is lopsided to the south there, but as you can see it does have winds of 50 miles per hour and a pressure of 1001 millibars nonetheless. Its movement is virtually stationary at this time, and this is a Stage 2 on the CDPS scale. Well, here it is. This is for the Yucatan Peninsula. Moderate wind speeds are expected, moderate storm size, significant rainfall potential, and a low to moderate overall threat to land all culminate in a Stage 2 on the CDPS scale. Despite this being a 10-tiered scale, even something as low as a Stage 2 can produce significant damage and still should be taken seriously, and in that vein, all tropical cyclones should be taken seriously, regardless of CDPS rating. Alright, well, here is the storm. Again, this is as of 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and you can see there the tropical storm force wind field is beginning to expand. We don't have much of a guide from the Hurricane Center just yet, so we don't have it plotted on this map, but by the next update you will see a well-defined plot of where exactly those tropical storm force winds are. Alright, well here we are with distances in miles. Current watches and warnings in effect right now. Pinar del Rio, Cuba, Tulum del Rio Lagartos, Mexico, and Cozumel under a tropical storm warning, with Tulum del Rio Lagartos, Mexico, and Cozumel under a hurricane watch as well. The storm's about 186 miles away from Georgetown. From Playa Carmen, it's about 299 miles away. From Chetuma, it's about 306 miles away. From Balmopan, it's about 337 miles away, and from Havana, it's about 381 miles away. Well, here's the storm right now. You can see there convection is blowing up in those latest frames. Sateet has a storm of 35 miles per hour. Satcon, NHC, and SAB as of now have the storm at 40 miles an hour. RAM Multi-Platform and AMSU at 45, and Force 13 alongside ADT and reconnaissance aircraft data do have this at about 50 miles per hour. Well, here's our cone on Zeta from when it was 40 miles per hour just about 5 hours ago, and you can see there the storm was expected to intensify a little slower than this. It is beating current intensity forecasts, so hurricane landfall would not be unreasonable to be forecasted at this point for the Yucatan Peninsula. You can see there as well, it's expected to become a Category 1 as it heads into the Gulf of Mexico with an 80 mile per hour peak predicted as of this particular cone, but you'll see later in the video that the peak, the ceiling for this storm, is higher than that. Alright, well here we go with the rainfall totals. You can see there 4 to 8 inches in a relatively widespread fashion there across the Yucatan Peninsula, as well as Cuba getting some 4 to 8 inch spots as well. And you can see there as the storm heads into the United States, 4 to 8 inches are possible in a relatively widespread fashion there as well. When it comes to sea surface temperatures, as of 6 UTC, the storm is in 29 to 30 degrees Celsius waters, more than enough to power a tropical cyclone of this strength, and MPIs in the region do have the storm being able to peak well above its current strength, so a major hurricane or something of that nature could be sustained in these waters. What are the chances of tropical storm force winds? 60 to 70% chances along the Yucatan Peninsula there. You can see as this heads towards the United States just barely within some 40 to 50% chances. Those are expected to increase with time as the storm does continue to approach the United States. Chances of hurricane force winds remain minimal right now, 5 to 10% chance just off the coast of the Yucatan, with 10 to 20% chances being introduced as the storm re-emerges into the Gulf of Mexico. Again, though, the strength of this storm could be much higher than what the National Hurricane Center and Force 13 are currently forecasting, and let's show you that on model guidance. You can see the HWRF and HMON showing a high-end Category 2 and mid-range Category 3 respectively at peak just before hitting the Yucatan Peninsula, and then some re-strengthening occurring after that, but not too much, with only a high-end tropical storm being shown on these models, and the HMON being the most aggressive with a secondary peak Category 1 status before the storm makes landfall. Well, after the storm hits the Yucatan, why is it the conditions won't be as favorable for strengthening? Well, wind shear is expected to rise significantly. Not only that, but sea surface temperatures will be falling, and mid-level relative humidity is going to be remaining around 60%, which isn't particularly ideal. You normally want to see that well above 60%. You can see the track forecast there as well, with the Yucatan Peninsula landfall being expected by the HWRF and HMON. But you can see there the CTCX and GFS also showing the slight possibility that this does thread the needle between Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula. Alright, with that being said, here is the storm on infrared satellite. Again, some convection is blowing up on the southern side there, which is impressive to say the least. Again, the storm does have winds up to 50 miles per hour at this point. We expect it to continue strengthening over the next few days, and we'll keep you up to date as it does so. Alright, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow our outlets. First of all, the website, force13.com, with new articles coming out all the time for your reading pleasure about all things weather. YouTube.com/force13 with our tropical weather bulletins, animations, and tropical updates. You can also find us on Facebook with more information on those things. And then also on Twitter. We have the US branches and AU branches on there as well, but you can see the URL below. Teespring.com/store/force13. That's where you can find things like the Smug Mug to buy. And finally, the Patreon. Patreon.com/force13, where you can support the project and help it become even better.